Yeah. But so you didn't start attacking my king after.
Yeah.
So we'll just edit it out from there.
For sure.
And start it here. So,
all right. So I'm here with
Hi,
Brooklyn
Johnny.
Dave. I'm Johnny, or Reti, as some people know me as.
is that your alias now?
It's been my artist alias for like 10 years, so
Okay.
I keep it.
All right. Reti's a good person. Yeah.
So, how long have you been playing chess, Dave? Because you were an artist and a chess player. So, what did you do first? Was art or chess?
So, actually, it was chess. Now that I think about it, because when I was 5, I learned how to play chess, and I had a friend's dad taught me how to play because my dad wasn't on the scene, and so I learned chess, and I played for a year or two, and then I didn't play much again until I was about 12, and then I played in a chess club when I moved up to Woodstock from Brooklyn. So I was living in Brooklyn when I learned chess. So Brooklyn Dave, but more on that later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I played in a chess club for about a year with very old men. It was a very sterile scene. And then when I was 13, segueing into art, I discovered guitar. So I learned guitar when I was 13, and then I forgot all about chess. It turned out that girls like guitar players.
I learned
more
guitar at
than
13
chess.
too.
You learned guitar at right around the time.
Yeah.
It's right around the time.
Yeah.
So you learn guitar when you're around 13. I did, and I started writing songs when I was 13. I wrote some of my first songs actually when I was 13, 14. And so I didn't do much in the way of chess again until I hit my early 20s, actually. Then I became a chess bum.
Yeah.
So
Like right
I was in San Francisco. I had some very good chess player friends that were masters and IMs, and they gave me my first official rating.
Oh, nice.
For most of the backward players. This is true. And so I dove into chess. So when I hit my early 20s, well, actually, it was a stint in the Marine Corps between 18 and 21. I didn't play much chess. I did play guitar, but I didn't. So when I got out when I was 21, right around when I was 22, I started playing chess, and then chess became part of my life, and I rose up pretty quickly to high A player. My first rating was B player, was 1693. I remember it was from the New York Open. And it was funny because a friend of mine who's a strong master was playing the open section. He was staying at my house in Astoria, Queens at the time. So we were playing the New York Open. I'm playing the unrated section. He's playing the open section. And he beat John Fedorowicz in this tournament. So he's beating grandmasters. And I did well. I scored 5.5, 2.5. And one of the Polgar sisters, Sophia Polgar, the middle sister, who nobody hears of.
Yeah.
So Judith was probably there running around. I'm sure I didn't notice her. And in the last round, it could have been, she was one of 2 players that I could be paired with.
What year was this?
This is in the 80s.
80s.
I don't remember. And so Sophia Polgar was there. She was 10. And I was in my early 20s. And I didn't want to get paired with her.
Yeah, because
she was standing up, blitzing out moves and kicking everybody's ass. Like, no. I don't want to be beat by a 10-year-old girl. So I didn't get paired with her. I got paired with the other person. We both wound up with 5.5, 2.5. And I think she went on to be a little bit better player than me. But that's the story. And then, of course, Judith came on the scene and kicked everybody's ass. But I never played Judith, and I never met Judith.
So
She's one of my idols, though. Judith Polgar is one of my chess idols.
So when did Brooklyn Dave start to emerge? When did because
there was Dave, me, from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But the character, Brooklyn Dave, kind of. As I started playing at the beach, and I met Carlini when I came to LA, something like 25 years ago, and I was married. I had 2 kids. 25 years ago I didn't, but when I met Carlini, maybe 22 years ago, I had already had one of my kids, and I was married to a beautiful Vogue cover girl.
Yeah.
And she'd give me pink slips to go out and play chess on weekends sometimes. And I met Carlini, and we would just start talking trash to each other. We'd start talking shit. And when me and Carlini played, there was crowds around. There's always crowds. Me and Carlini would draw a crowd. So all of a sudden we had all these
There's always
people
been
watching.
chess players.
And I launched into my spiel, and Carlini launched into his thing, and it turned out that combination was good. Mike came on the scene somewhere around that time too.
Yeah.
And it just kind of developed. It just somehow when I start playing chess and when we're talking shit, I go back to Brooklyn. And it's the same thing. Like this is the way I talk in ordinary life, to under normal circumstances. But then if under certain, I'll go Brooklyn on people. Like if somebody cuts me off in traffic and jumps out of the car, some guy is starting to give me shit and gets in my face, I'll turn into fucking Brooklyn. You know what I mean? I like pull it up. It's my weapon. You know. So when I go into like an emotional state, I'll go Brooklyn on them.
Yeah.
Which works.
Yeah, it works.
Brooklyn is a good thing to have.
It's a good channel.
And it's a good place to be from. I love Brooklyn. And I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Coney Island, in case anybody's wondering. Coney Island is a particular area of Brooklyn. That's where I'm from. That's real Brooklyn, man. And so this. Are they looking for me already?
Already.
Is
Sorry.
that a spotlight I see?
It's
All right.
LA.
It's LA.
They're always looking for somebody.
Yeah, so I started so this Brooklyn Dave character developed naturally without me trying, just because I would get emotional and it's an aggressive game. And like I said, when I got aggressive, I would go Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I started, talking Brooklyn, going to this fucking Brooklyn attitude and this and that, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the way it happened. And then the getting Dave part.
Yeah, how did that? What was the?
How did getting Dave start?
Yeah, how did you?
I don't know. I cannot.
Can you remember the first time that you announced that you Daved somebody?
I'm sure it was probably Carlini.
You probably was the first person to be
probably said you're going to get Daved, but I don't know, and I don't remember how that actually happened. But somehow, which is a great publicity scoop, if I can associate getting mated with getting Daved, oh my God.
How did you do that? For an A player, that's pretty exceptional.
For an A player, it's pretty exceptional. And I did knock my rating down somewhat. I didn't want to cross the 2,000.
Was that like tactical?
I still wanted to win the World Open.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my friends did. He won the A prize. And he wasn't that much stronger than me. And at the time he won it, it was the largest class prize in history, which isn't that much nowadays. We 12 grand. But for an A player to win 12 grand in a chess tournament,
that's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it helps.
I've since then I've won more than that in poker tournaments. It was just some kind of goal of mine, which I now will probably never achieve.
I don't think so. I think that you will achieve it because what we're doing here. I think kind of. You want to tell everyone what we're doing here?
Oh, what are we doing here?
Well, this is Evergreen Chess. Like you're on Evergreen Chess.
And what does Evergreen mean? Evergreen
is it's never going to go out of style.
Exactly.
Like it's never going to fade away. And
that name was coined by our friend Srikanth, who is one of our producers and chess players, who you will see. And I really like that name.
Yeah, I mean, it does have like a lot of history in chess with the Evergreen game and stuff like that, and
keeping it fresh,
and keeping it
new.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, because it's hard because like street chess players get a bad rap for like kind of skipping a lot of the core components of the game and like kind of cutting corners and stuff like that, and then all these top players get a bad rap for being very sterile and not like letting people, being kind of gatekeepers and not letting people in, not just to like their game, but like to them as people. I think a lot. So I think that what we can do is just try to like stretch that whole amount of people.
And also to make chess cool.
Well, yeah, it's cool.
That's something the cool kids do now.
Yeah, because
it is cool.
Because I grew up playing chess in like on the street in LA and in bars and like in all these like pretty
doing it in New York,
places
in San Francisco.
And it never felt uncool. You know what I mean? But like But then when I see like people's perception of it, it always felt like
very old man sitting around, sitting for an hour between moves, thinking 45 moves ahead, and who can relate to that?
Yeah, nobody.
So I think part of also what we're doing, which has already started with other chess websites, which we won't talk about, but how I kind of got well known, and some others, and you will soon too, I'm sure. So that was good, and I think it's good for ordinary players that aren't necessarily even A players, which is above average. Yeah. But like average players, 1,200 players, 1,400 players,
800
players,
zero-rated players.
When you see someone like Magnus Carlsen play a game, you can't really relate to that. I can't. Yeah. We can't even relate to that.
Yeah.
So but is there some way to bridge the gap to make chess cool and to make chess to have more women playing chess and have 100%. More children playing chess and finding it fun and. Chess is great, and so we're trying to do something different, which is make chess entertainment. So not just chess, but entertainment. And we're going to be morphing into different. We're going to be hearing music. Yeah. Johnny here, brilliant musician, great songwriter. I write some music and play some music. So rock and roll chess might become a thing. Yeah. In fact, if we go to our episode 0, we will see Johnny is the guy playing. This
Yeah, that's
guy
a bunch
here.
of my music. Yeah,
It's
so
a bunch
if you
of
go
his
episode
music.
0,
Yeah,
it's
it's original.
all my original stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that like we're gonna be able to make lots of different types of content. It's not gonna get old because we're gonna be able to change with all the cast of characters.
We don't
that
have
we
a frozen idea of what it's got to be.
Yeah, and we're gonna be collaborating with you guys all the time. It's all about the community, and like your guys' journey is gonna be super important, and we'll try to build lots of bridges to
And
us.
interactions.
Yeah, because we want you to be able to
and-
just through Twitch and Patreon be able to play games with any of us. You know, like
Yeah.
and like share your experiences and your journeys. Like we want to be able to kind of be your chess club no matter where you're at. But not just like the one that you grew up in, but like the one that
Right.
we kind of wish there was. You know, like a
Right.
much more fun.
That way, when I learned
Alive.
guitar, when you learn guitar when
Yeah.
you were 13, if there was some cool places to play chess
Yeah.
and
We
hang
would've
out with
done
some
it.
cool kids,
Yeah.
we would have done it.
Yeah, but there just wasn't. So if we
there
can,
wasn't, yeah.
So if we can even make that for real for us, but then for everybody, because if we put a camera everywhere here and we capture all this great experiences,
I think that's the basic, chess for everybody.
yeah,
Chess for all levels, all players, all sexes.
Yeah.
And one of the great things I've noticed about chess, in Washington Square Park in New York, you'd have a guy worth $100 million, a Wall Street banker, would be sitting there with a cocaine dealer or
Yeah,
some street
100%.
kid who lives on the street.
yeah,
A black guy and a white businessman, and they're playing chess, and there's no racism, there's no discrimination. Like in that moment when they're playing a game of chess, it's all about white should play c5, black should play d4, or whatever. It's
Yeah,
the
whatever.
game.
Yeah, the
It's
game
not-
is more. And then
It's an
also,
interesting aspect of it too.
I always think
diversity.
I think about chess as like the easiest world language to learn, like because English is really hard to learn. Like I'm
Right.
still learning how to speak it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like you can learn chess in like an hour, and then you can go all over the world, and someone can kind of see a little bit of your
Right.
personality, like right away.
That's
You know?
another aspect. And
Yeah, it's like a bridge by itself.
It's also a universal language
Yeah.
because a person could be Russian or
Yeah.
and C4 is C4.
Yeah.
And they
C5
can
is
look at a
C5,
game.
right.
If I write down the moves to my game, C4, D5, blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
yeah,
Somebody who doesn't speak my language that could never communicate with me otherwise could do it.
They
that
can
way.
see your personality and
Yeah.
like what you have to provide, which is I think like most conflict is because people can't explain to each other like what's going on in their head, and like chess and music are just two great ways to like bridge those.
And if we could bring them together,
then I think it's
then
crazy.
that will be really
Yeah,
something
that's
new.
gonna be
and we're
really
going to
cool.
be doing that.
Yeah.
So, but Brooklyn Dave will be back, and people will be getting Daved. Yeah.
Thanks everybody.